Let's see. Oh, and we're live. I figured like that's the second time I started the podcast like that. So I might as well just keep going.
We are
Yeah.
live.
Welcome to the second episode of the Brainstorm Blast podcast. I am your first host, co-host Miguel, along with the
Zeke,
other host with the most.
Zeke from the GBG team. You feel me?
Hey, also known as Siddiqui.
Yes.
But yeah, welcome. If this is your first time, hey. If not,
Double head.
uh, welcome back. Art's back. Yo,
Art.
that's dope. All right, so in this particular episode, we're going to be talking about how the world is a reflection of you, and this topic was actually picked by Siddiqui. I figure we can go like back and forth with it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I passed the tennis ball and then you smack that shit right back.
I passed the blunt. Nigga hit this.
Oh, yo, hit that shit. Oh shit. Next thing you know, 100 episodes deep. I don't know how we supposed to. I don't know how we're supposed to record this thing.
But I'm so pumped for today's live, bro. I got so much I want to talk about. You?
Yo, me too. Especially like this has been like a topic that I've been thinking about pretty heavily. But yo, this is like a radio talk show. So how you been, man?
Man, I've been good, man. Life's been a roller coaster, bro. Just like the universe hit me with a boom, and then the next day, boom, boom, and I was like, oh, I'm not ready for it. I'm not ready for it. But it's all like light. It's all knowledge. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Like
You're never gonna
I
throw
know.
it away. That's not meant for you.
Yeah, I like that chain, man.
Oh, thanks, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah, always got to stay icy.
always. But how's it been on your end, fam?
Oh man, stuff has been beautiful. It's just like I've been like chilling at the crib pretty much 24/7, but uh, it's been like a very hermit study life, which I like. Like I like those moments.
A hermit study life?
Yeah, like a hermit doesn't like leave their hermit cave. Um, and like I've just been like in like deep study,
Where
like looking up hella YouTube videos, reading a ton. So
you're
yeah,
basically in your zone, bro. Just
exactly.
finding and doing what's best for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Bill Gates used to lock himself in a room for like days on end. And he basically did that. Like
Oh, doesn't he still do that? Like, doesn't he like he's like, yeah, you're not gonna have contact with me for a week. I'm reading this giant stack of books, and then I'll be back.
That's what they do. I feel like that's like kind of like a similar manifestation of what Tim Ferriss does, where he just sleeps on the floor and just goes in a tent. I think things like that are just when you're just ready to go hermit mode. You feel me? Like there's times when you just gotta go hermit mode and fuck the connection. Miguel.
This man's Wi-Fi. Oh, you froze up for a second.
You froze up for a second.
Yo, I know what you're talking about.
I'm gonna put on airplane mode. But
all right.
Yeah.
All right. So you want to go ahead and just I feel like you should start this off. This was your topic. Right, what do you mean? What do you mean by the world is a reflection of you? First and foremost,
the world is a reflection of you because you are the universe. Since you are part of the universe, that makes you. Since you're looking at the universe from your perspective, that makes the universe around you. So you are the center of the universe, and whatever you project out is going to come back to you. So let's say something happens to you and you have an emotional reaction. That emotional reaction and your state of mind, it gets projected back out to the universe, and it's like a loop. Some bad shit happens to you, you feel bad, and then you feel bad, and then some more bad shit happens to you. But if instead, when some shit happens to you, you look at the situation objectively and you say, I'm not gonna let this affect me. I'm gonna stay in my zone, dancing like Pac. I'm gonna stay in my zone. Then the universe will literally shift to your liking because you're basically changing the loop. It's like negative, 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 negative. But then when it's negative, positive, it turns to positive, 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 positive.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think we're like what holds a lot of people back from looking at this is because it's literally the exact opposite. Like most people look at the circumstances of their life and they go, okay, these circumstances are bad, so I should be feeling bad right now.
Yeah. But
Instead of looking at it and go, all right, that's bad. That means I was probably feeling a little shitty maybe a week or two ago, maybe a month, couple months ago. Okay, I'm gonna fix this right now. Like your outside circumstances are a reflection of you previously.
exactly, as in the book, boom, says,
Reality transurfing. Oh my god,
"Oh my God,
oh
reality."
my god, he has it. I would I don't have
Basically,
a physical copy. I just have it on my phone.
man, I gotta get you a copy, man. But let me just say what I was gonna say first, man.
Go for it. Go
Basically,
for it.
the thoughts is still perfect, man. That's the same shit. We out here.
Hey! All
Uh,
right, go for it. Go for it. Your
basically,
thoughts are so perfect.
the reality that you have now, in transurfing terms, is basically a reflection of the thoughts and emotions you had like a month ago.
Mhm,
So let's say that some bad shit is happening to you right now. It's better to just embody positivity. So a month from now, your reality will literally shift to your liking because you're just radiating that positive energy, and whatever you give out, it'll come back to you. It's a
mhm,
universal law, you
mhm.
know. Like just now, some shit happened to me. I just knocked over my smoothie, and I was just like my first thought was "fuck," man. I knocked over my smoothie, it went all over my chest pieces. I was like
Uh-huh.
"fuck," but then I was just like, "Oh, transurfing, everything is perfect.
Hey.
Everything is perfect." And then I just started, everything is perfect, and then I just didn't let it get to me, and I'm chilling now.
All
So
right. I can hear the opposing thoughts to this right now. But Siddiqui, I tried thinking positive and bad stuff still happens. What's going on?
um, what you're asking me,
I mean, I see that popping up. I have an idea of why that happens, but I'm curious what you would say before I unleash my thoughts and then that imprints on you
I
and
have
now
several.
you.
I have several perspectives. I have several perspectives. First of all, from a transurfing perspective, you're thinking you're still staying positive and negative shit keeps happening to you. That's because those negative thoughts that you had in the past, they're still updating to your current reality. But if you just keep staying positive over time, your reality will shift because the reality that you experience now is kind of a reflection of the thoughts that you had weeks ago. Because basically the universe and the reality that we live in right now, it's not as keen as it is in your dreams, because in your dreams you have a negative thought and then boom, fucking Jason or Freddy Krueger will come out and stab your ass. But in this reality, it's a little bit more slow. It'll be thought, and then you keep playing that thought, that script in your mind, and then over time you'll see it kind of play out in your reality. In a dream, it's like boom, quick. So you need to realize that it happens more slow. And if you're just thinking positive, and the next day you're like, oh, my reality, this shit, fuck all this transurfing shit.
Mhm.
Fuck all of it. Nah, fam, patience, patience.
Big.
That's just my first take on it.
I had the same thought process, bro. Cause like if you're 30 and you barely have this realization of, oh, if I have like positive thoughts, that means I can change up my reality. Well, the past 30 years you've been thinking negatively. So chill out a little bit. Just think positive, be patient, and let stuff work itself out.
Yeah,
Especially considering the fact that the way that in reality transurfing it describes parallel realities, it describes it as if you're like moving along like a spectrum, like it's a spectrum of like negative to positive from left to right. So like if you've been thinking negative and your life is shit in this exact moment, then you are somewhere like closer to the bad side. And now you're thinking positive, like the universe can't just boom, like you said, like where it's in a
yeah,
dream, you're not going to
yeah.
over to the good.
0 to 100 real quick, nigga. It's gonna go 1, 2, 3,
It's
4,
gonna
5.
especially considering the fact that like everything is like a parallel reality. Like me and you right now are like every single nanosecond we are shifting into parallel realities. Like my hands are right here. Like when I move my hands here, that's not that I didn't move my hands. I shifted to a parallel reality where my hands existed in this exact spot.
Exactly.
Which
Time is
is
an illusion.
exactly. It's bizarre to think about, but it's like people look at everything so linearly and like they focus on everything physical because it's what you can see, which is like it's a understandable mistake to make. And I think that's like part of the idea of like us even incarnating as a human is like let's see if I can go into this dense ass reality and remember that this shit ain't even real.
Yeah, it's like you have like a kind of spiritual immune system. Like, I wonder how long it'll take me in this reality of physicality and illusions for me to realize this shit is all parallel realities. Life is not what it seems. Like, how many years for most people? They're like 90 years old. Nigga, this shit, nigga, I was here and I'm here. A parallel reality, but we found this. We found this shit out early, fam. We
You know,
out here.
when you think about it, that like if you're like some like eternal being, I can see why you would think it would be fun to do
Yeah,
that.
'cause, like, it's like just playing. Like, you ever play Call of Duty and you decided to go on like a high ass round of zombies? Like, you could kind of be like, all right, I know I'm gonna get smoked, but I'm just kind of practicing how nice I am. So you like on Black Ops, you go to like round 20, and then you're just like it's just some crazy ass shit. If you're like an infinite being, like, won't you think you would just incarnate for 100 years? Yeah, I'm gonna just give myself a little challenge. I'm gonna give my soul a challenge, nigga.
That was a perfect analogy for it.
Boom. We just did it, bro.
We just in a game of zombies right now, just trying to see how long we can last.
Yes, bro. Before we get clapped, but the only difference is that zombies, it ends, you get clapped, but your soul is forever.
Mm,
Uh,
mm.
uh.
So the other thing that I want to touch on in terms of like the fact that everyone just focuses on the physical, like like everyone's constantly just like okay, I can see and touch like if anyone with a brain can look at this and be like, oh, that is an object that he is holding, this is a thing. But I feel like that perception is like so small because it's like everything is energy. So like if you were to just like shut off, like just like try to think in like a much broader perspective and try to be like, okay, if everything's energy, that means everything around me is energy and I'm just a ball of energy moving through a giant energy field, and I can change the frequency of my energy in order to make the energy around me start to behave differently.
Boom. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Like like every time like you say that or I just read something like that in a book, it's like, oh, it's like I heard it for the first time in my life. Like, I'm energy, everything is energy, and if I just change the frequency of my energy, the energy around me will be different. Bro.
Boom! Well, and okay, there's this guy getting popular on YouTube right now whose name I can't remember, but he was just had an interview on London Real, and he's this
His name is he's white. He's Caucasian.
yes, yes,
And he has he has like a British accent.
I think
He was just on London Real. Just check it, bro. Check it. We're doing a
he
podcast.
was. I don't now, of course, he's not gonna. Oh wait, no, someone hit me up about him recently.
Okay.
Um, watch. Might as well look this up. You're right. This is a podcast. We can take our time. Oh, I'm on the wrong Instagram.
But guys, drop questions by the way.
Yeah, you're obviously
We're answering questions this whole time.
yeah. I think Art's the only one in here, so like you're more than welcome to have like a full on conversation
Art,
with
we out here.
us.
um,
All right, here it is. Here it is. His name is Dr. Bruce Lipton. Like I
Dr. Bruce Lipton.
think he's the person of Ice Tea.
Word.
But so he's like super into like having more control on your subconscious. Funny enough, the Art mentioned that inside of the chat. But he's really big on that. But he was the first scientist to um, start studying epigenetics. and he was the one that made that big. Do you know what that is?
Yes, of course.
Oh, dope.
Yes.
I feel like that is like a manifestation, like in our physical world, like that's a manifestation of how the universe works.
Yeah,
Like you
because
mean to tell me I can think positively and then the cancer just leaves my body?
yeah, let's first explain to the audience what epigenetics is. Um, you
Epigenetics, epigenetics. So this guy figured out that the idea was that like, yo, if what are like some diseases that like run in families? Like
uh,
diabetes,
yeah, diabetes.
heart disease. Like
Yeah,
what's it called when you're high blood pressure? So like stuff like high blood pressure and diabetes, like the scientific community used to think that if your dad and your granddad had diabetes, then you're kind of just screwed because you have their genetics. So you're bound to get diabetes. That's what everyone in the scientific community thought. And then this guy, he was teaching that in the classroom, because like he kind of had to, but like he was inside of his lab and he had like, so he was experimenting with stem cells. And he was able, I don't remember exactly how it works because obviously I'm not a scientist, but he was able to duplicate the stem cells where like they're all completely identical. And stem cells are like it's a form of gene expression that's like pure.
yeah,
So we had a bunch of basically twin stem cells inside of a petri dish. That thing that you have in like science class where you like clasp it together and then you can look at it through a microscope. So he had all of them. Boom, they're all completely identical. And then he puts them in three different petri dishes, and then he just changes their environment. I don't know the specifics of how he changed their environment, but he changed their environment in some degree, and all of them responded differently. And what he found out was that it's not your genes that have an effect on what it is that your biology has going on. It is the environment that those genes are housed in.
boom.
So, uh, they found out that epigenetics, and he was ridiculed for like he went on stage and was like telling people this and they were just looking at like, bro, you're stupid, this
Yeah.
isn't a thing. And like
Boo.
like
But, he stayed on his same frequency. He like
bro, he said he thought he was crazy, like he thought he was going crazy. He was like, I'm seeing it work inside of my lab, like
what
why doesn't
everybody's
anyone believe
doing. Yeah, that's why you just gotta stay on your own path and just follow what your gut
me?
tells you. Look at him now.
Bro, it's crazy how like you would think that the scientific community would like love it whenever someone like was trying to find a new discovery, but it seems like it's a reoccurring thing where like they sort of just get looked at weird for like a span of a few years until more people start figuring it out, and then they're like, "Oh, you're right."
Yes. Personally, I'm not gonna hold you, bro. I think that's basically just is getting to a point where the people who run medicine, they're kind of just like, okay, well, too many people are finding out that it's true, and too many people are up to the point where they're just like, yeah, this is fact. So we're just gonna be like, yeah, we kind of knew this whole time. Yeah, it's true, it's true. And they kind of just piggyback it after it, and then somehow find a way to monetize it after, like they see it, everybody's agreeing with it.
Mm-hmm.
But until you get to that point, they will be bollocks. Get out of here.
Bollocks. What are you talking about? That's not real.
Yes.
Yo.
But I just wanted to add on to what that guy, Dr. Lipton, did when he said your environment creates you. You can basically transcend this. Uh, you can be your own environment. You can talk to yourself in a way. You could transfer for a way where you're just radiating positive energy because those stem cells in that petri dish, they were already in an environment that was positive, so it was easier for them to be positive. But if you're in a situation where your environment isn't positive, you can bring it first. And when you bring it first, it's like a universal law. When you bring something first, it'll reciprocate back to you.
Mm-hmm.
In a relationship, if you're the one who brings love, if you're the one who brings trust first, 9 times out of 10, it will reciprocate. So just Eckhart Tolle says it too. Whatever you think the world is holding back from you, you're holding back from the world. So
Mm.
Bring it first, baby.
Bars.
Bring it first.
Bars. Always bring it first. The universe is literally just reciprocating everything.
Yeah.
Someone had me look up. Have you ever heard of the law of opposites?
Yeah.
Someone had me
tell everybody though. Tell everybody about it though first.
Someone had me look. Troy's about to hop on this, by the way.
Troy's about to hop on.
Yeah, he asked me to let him.
Yo, we out here. We out. Bro,
fuck. What was I talking about?
You were talking about the law of opposites.
Law of opposites. All right. So the law of opposites basically says that the universe is going to. I only looked into it a little bit because I kind of just threw it out the window because I was just like, this is just something else. But basically, it says that if you're acting like if you want something really badly, then the universe is going to do the opposite and move it away from you. And then if you don't care about that thing anymore, then the universe will bring it to you. But it slowly brings it up.
It sounds a little bit like this,
bro. I feel like that's just another way of describing excess potential. Honestly, I was about to say something like I had a point to all of this, but I kind of forgot what it was.
I think I'll kind of bring a point. Oh, you remember?
It's sort of just. I mean, okay, yeah, I do remember. The universe is going to reciprocate whatever it is that you have going on. That's the point I was going to make. It's not that the universe is trying to do the opposite. It's that the universe is like
trying to balance itself out.
Yeah, it's balancing itself out, and it's sort of just giving you whatever you want. Like it's sort of just like, okay, he wants this really badly, but that feeling is like super intense. So I just keep that feeling there.
Yeah, it's like you want something really badly, and it's not even. Oh my goodness!
What's up? Yo, Troy, you gotta introduce yourself. This is only the second episode, but like people.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm Troy, and I met Siddiqui a while back, and been helping him with World Champions page on some post, but that's pretty much. I do real estate. Really into this transurfing talk, so I wanted to join this. I was fiending for a good transurfing talk. Oh, I got mine. I got my book somewhere here.
Word.
Yo, you always gotta have it at the ready.
Yo, can you hear me that? Give me that book.
He's like, yo, give me.
There we go.
There we go. Oh,
was
Troy, do you have every single like the little books? Do you have all of them?
Yeah.
That's pretty badass.
I like those. I like the translations a little better.
Oh, it's a little different.
They say little things differently. Like I forget. Me and Siddiqui were talking about something the other day, and basically
it was reworded differently on my version.
Yeah. It was like what was yours? It was
I want to know what it was.
I can't think of it. It was just like a simple.
I don't really remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, it was something so simple. It doesn't even matter. We go. Yeah, it wasn't even like big.
Okay.
But let's tell Troy we were just talking about.
Basically mirror principles, right?
Yeah,
but I think it's like
the mirror principle
is like.
What's your understanding? It's cool. It's cool hearing. Wait. Who?
Troy, you got
headphones?
What's that?
You have headphones?
Yeah. Can you hear the headphones? Oh, they're downstairs. Yeah, hold on.
Yo, just grab them, bro.
Yeah, just grab.
Just grab. I can't do this. I can't transfer that shit right now.
Yeah, yo, you gotta lower your importance.
Lower your importance, increase some intent, increase some worthiness.
Exactly, bro. Just like raising your arm, man.
Just like raising.
Yeah.
Fucking love you.
But
reality transurfing jokes.
Is my quality bad? My sound quality?
No.
We can hear our voices.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a podcast though, so.
But that's still
Can you go downstairs to get mine real quick?
Yeah, it's a podcast, so it's not like the worst thing in the world that like it's taking a second. So
yeah, she's grabbing them. I'll get them in a second.
Okay.
What a beautiful.
I can't see your face, bro. I feel like the top of your head.
What's up?
I only see like your eyes, bro. I want to see the whole package.
You only see my eyes?
Pause.
Wait, you only see my eyes?
Nah, like, all right, I see more of you now, fam. I see more.
Wait, what? My camera is showing like a full-on thing.
He's tripping. All right.
Am I?
All right. Me and Siddiqui are going to be quiet for a second. While she's getting the headphones for you, explain your understanding of the mirror principle.
Wait, hold on. I got headphones I'm plugging. Oh, I got my charger in right now. Can't plug in a headphone. This is the problem with Apple, bro.
You don't have Bluetooth?
No, dude. I left my Bluetooth in my business partner Ethan's car, and he's in Austin. Anyway, I'll talk right now. I guess. What percent's my battery on? I'm at 2%.
Oh shit!
Oh crap!
We gotta transfer this.
I had about a 20-hour day, so
We
not
gotta
20 hours.
transfer this.
I exaggerated. Anyway,
Everything is
my
perfect.
what's up?
I said we're transferring this. Everything is perfect.
Okay. I'll get up to 3%, then I'll put on these headphones after I explain mirror principles.
All right,
Go for it.
Okay, so mirror principles for me, I've read the 5th book, which is where the mirror principles are, and for me, for what I read, and basically it's 8 simple principles to me, and basically, you're the image. So your thoughts, your attitude towards the world is the image, and that creates the reflection, and the reflection is what you see on the outer world. But way before that, it comes in the outer world, when before the reflection takes place, what he also calls decorations and scripts. So scripts is the image, decorations is the mirror, the reflection of the mirror. And basically, before it becomes a reflection, you have to have the image. And there's the biggest thing that I was telling Siddiqui way back when I first started on this shit, like literally February 2018. You remember this, Siddiqui?
Yeah,
I
bro.
started telling you about mirror principles.
Back in the day.
Hey, someone just said your headphones are in front of your door.
What's up?
Someone named Sinke Mani just said your headphones are in front of your door.
That's my roommate, bro. You don't know Chris?
Nah, I don't think he knows Chris. He doesn't know Chris. Yeah. But,
yeah, your headphones are in your house, bro.
Oh yeah, no, I got my headphones here. It's just like the charger, bro.
Yeah.
But anyway, so basically, say the image you want to, like way before it comes out in the reflection, you have to hold that image in place. So say I want $1 million, I have to have the image of the $1 million before the reflection. Also said I have to have the script, the thoughts, the writing before the outer manifestation. So if I want to raise the arm metaphor. So if I put my arm, way up here, and I want that to reflect in the mirror, there's a lag time. I got to hold that there for, in my opinion, for everything that I've manifested, it's been like a 6-month lag time for me. I don't know what it is for you, Miguel. I don't know what it is for you, Siddiqui, but I tend to like rewire pretty quickly so that worthiness for me, external intention, the way I see external intention as I say worthiness. So like when I'm worthy of having the goal, when I have the, what did you say? The determination to have as external intention. Mm-hmm. When I have the determination to have, it's usually a 6-month lag time, but I can get to that point pretty quickly usually. I can get to the image pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm. I've noticed a similar lifetime, bro. Actually, I feel like mine might be a little longer and a little shorter. I feel like it depends on like your relationship to whatever it is that you're trying to bring into your life, and how close you are to that parallel reality.
Right. I don't know. Me and Siddiqui's gotten pretty deep in it. I don't know how. I haven't really talked to you much, Miguel, about transferring. I've been pretty into it as of late. So, but I feel like
that is a million times better.
Yeah. Yeah, I got.
I don't want your thing to die though, Troy. Is your phone gonna die or something?
If it does, I love you. But I'm at 3%. It should last.
All right, cool, awesome. Love you too.
If I die, let everyone know that I loved them.
If I die, bury me inside the Lewis Star. Yeah.
So you say your lag time is what, Miko?
I said I feel like it depends.
Yeah.
Some stuff will. I feel like majority of the time it does have like it's around like 6 months, because I did this like vow of silence thing a couple of days ago.
Yeah, Siddiqui told me.
And then I was just like chilling, and then I was just like naturally you're just gonna start thinking about your life because you have nothing else to do. And then I came to the realization that something that I didn't like. I was like, I stopped trying to manifest it because I was just like, I kind of don't want that anymore. But like because I was like visualizing it and writing it down for like months previously, it's like in my life now, and I didn't realize it until I was just sitting there just thinking about my life, and I was like, oh, that's why that happened. And I was like, man, that was like
Months ago. Yes, bro. Bro,
that was months ago.
Chris can attest to this. Chris is a Cinco the guy. Basically, my biggest visualization when I was getting started was I wanted to make 20,000 a month, and I wanted to live in a condo high rise.
Mm-hmm.
So there was literally like an exact like 6 month lag between that, where like I I got to that point, and then it was the weirdest thing though. I got to the high rise, and then I realized I fucking hate high rises, bro. Like, so that now I have to like my easiest slide that's like ingrained in me is this awesome visualization of this badass high rise. But I don't even like high rises because I just don't like it anymore after having that experience.
I love high rises. Why don't you like them anymore?
The experience did not sit well. I lived in a good high rise. Like it was a good one. You can see it from my like story. It has a good view. It's a nice setup. It just I don't like the windows. I don't like the having to go up the elevator. It's just not what it was cracked out to be. My grandfather lives in a high rise, so that's why I kind of always wanted to. I always saw it, and I was like kind of envious of that. But no, man, like now I'm looking forward to this fucking lake house, and like now I have to like rewire this whole fucking slide of like what I see every day, you know. So it's kind of interesting. I have a new slide now.
So I guess it's like be careful what you wish for, kind of.
Yeah, well, and I'll tell you, I know I was close to Sadiq around this time, but when I manifested like way more than I wanted to. So there was like I wanted to manifest 20,000 in my pocket each month, and I got to a point where the business was at. It got to January. We had 8 deals, so eight wholesale deals. So it was like $70,000-$80,000. And then February was like explosive. We made like 150,000. We had like 15 new contracts. Like real momentum took place. And I remember sitting there like more depressed than I'd ever been. My ex-girlfriend just broke up with me. And I was like, holy shit, like I gave up everything. And I gave up like all my friends. I didn't have really like close friends to me because I kind of just focused so much on it. So going to that point of like, be careful what you wish for. You know, I got everything that you got to be careful what you have put in your slides too. Make sure you put love in your slides. Make sure you put like good people around you. Because I always visualize myself kind of only with like 1 or 2 friends and usually by myself. And that shit manifests. So like if you're doing transurfing correctly, you got to be very wary of what you're putting into your slides. Like that image just has to be spot on.
That makes so much sense. Like when you're picturing stuff, you need to picture like the minor details of it. Because you can fuck around and manifest yourself by yourself.
Oh, yes, bro. Shit. And I did that, and I was fucking depressed.
Oh shit. Everything's good.
Yes. I feel like there's still a lot of positive in that because you learned that.
Sorry, I had to go back out of headphones. I was gonna die.
You're good. I feel like there's a lot of positive in that because you learned that.
Positive in what?
There's a positive in that experience that you went through. Because you learned that about manifesting.
And that's one of the things about the mirror principles, right? He talks about how a negative reflection can be perceived as a positive reflection if you choose it. I think that's like the 5th or 6th one. But pretty much, you know, like if you put the mirror is a reflection. So like when you start manifesting shit, it's like the opposite of what you expect. For example, I wanted Lake Travis, right? I wanted to set on that adventure. Well, my whole business had a dissolution with my business partner, but that's given me the stepping stone to get to where I want to get to with love around me. What I really truly want is love around me, people that I can grow with. And it was a stepping stone. Like that negative, what could be perceived as negative, I saw as like, holy shit, it's happening. Lake Travis is happening. Like right when that shit started coming down, I was like, dude, it's fucking happening. Lake Travis is happening. And it came down because I got sick. I was focused on other things in the business, and I just didn't like the energy. But like all of this led to this positive manifestation. But it was that whole mirror principle of like, you put your right arm up, the mirror is going to show the left arm at first because that's the reflection, you know. It's I think he says it way more eloquently than me, obviously, but That's the way I perceived it. Is that like negative is actually positive in terms of towards your slide?
You transurfed it, bro. But wait, just I think you should just mute yourself when me or Miguel talking. So
Okay, how do I do that?
there's like a mute. There's a mute microphone button. Yeah.
Okay,
So whenever,
I got
yeah, then there won't be the thing. But you basically transurfed it, bro. Like like a negative event happened, but you just decided to keep seeing the positive, and then eventually it just went to a positive loop because most people will be negative experience, and then negative emotion, and then a negative experience, negative emotion. But something that was perceived as negative, which is just a perception, you decide to remain positive and keep running that slide, and then boom, you're just manifesting the reality you want. So we out here.
There's a part in the book where he was talking about how you can control the destination, but you can't control the script. And it was like just stop judging the script so much, because like if you're doing everything right, if you're holding the slide inside of your mind, you're focusing on that mirror image, you're doing all the other stuff from transurfing, then just assume that you're going to get there, because there's going to be stuff that pops up in your life. There's going to be pendulums that disguise themselves as negative occurrences happening in your life, when in reality that thing is the thing that is going to teach you a lesson or make something happen that takes you to the thing that you've been holding inside of your mind this entire time.
Isn't that crazy, bro?
Yeah. So the way I see, man, it's crazy that you bring that up, because I like how powerful the fifth book is, but like how much the fifth book is just like the first book, but with different ways to describe it.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about scripts and decoration. He's talking about the image and the reflection. It's the same thing, just a different way to describe it. Like for me, what worked for me so much is that I built this huge foundation of like rewiring my brain based on the first book. I reread the first book like 7 times before I ever moved to the second book. I told you that, Siddiqui. I rewired that shit, like ingrained it in me. But then you like have that foundation, and every book just builds upon it. Like it's so cool how like every book correlates with one another.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I read something a day or two ago where the guy who wrote the book that I was reading said, yeah, you have to read this book 10 to 15 times, because it takes 10 to 15 times for it to actually ingrain the information into your brain. So like every book that you go through, if it's a very good book, if it's a book that you want to retain the knowledge of, read that book 10 to 15 times.
Was that How to Be a 3% Man?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
That's a good book. That's a good book. That's one of the ones that I actually would read. There's only a handful of books I would read physically, and the rest I just read listening, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like transurfing is probably like, I probably read over 10,000 pages worth of fucking transurfing in the last year and a half. But like, that's one of the only books that I'll read. But in terms of like How to Be a 3% Man is in the 80-20 for me. Like that's in Pareto's Law for me. That book gives you 80% of the results.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. That book's a good book. But that's so true. Anything with like anything with a lot of value, not one of the books where like there's one gold nugget or 2 gold nuggets, but the books where like every fucking sentence is a gold nugget. You got to write that shit down. You got to read that, and you got to like, when you have that aha moment, when you have that paradigm shifting moment, you got to revisit that paradigm shifting moment almost every day before it's like part of your subconscious, because it doesn't help you in your conscious. Like just knowing it doesn't fucking help you. It's when it's like ingrained in you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And just to add on to what you were saying, Miguel, of how like you just got to not judge the script, I think a big part of that is realizing one of the main transurfing principles, and it talks about that you're a guest in this world. And if you're a guest in this world, you got to think about it. You're not the only creator. Everybody else is a co-creator. So it's like you're kind of driving a car. You're driving a car and you're getting to that destination, but you don't know. A nigga might swerve and be in your way, but you just got to stay and just not judge it and just keep going to your destination. So I think that's just the key. Realize that you're not the only one. And like Transurfing says, instead of viewing it as like a crowd and everybody's just pushing you, view it as just a group of penguins and you're just moving.
Everybody's just going.
Yes.
There's I was listening to one of Bentenio's, however the hell you say his name, one of his talks. Benteno. And he was saying how like he was saying something similar about like similar thing where he was like, yeah, like you're creating your reality, but be mindful that everyone else is creating their reality too. and everything, like, so like their conscious creation, and they don't know on a conscious level, oh, I manifested this reality because this is going to be the most beneficial thing for me in my journey and my path. You may be on your path and they might manifest themselves in front of you, and then you like have to step on their toes or something like that. You can't like judge yourself for like being like on this path and then like someone getting wiped out on your wave. Like you're doing your thing, they manifested that reality for themselves, and for whatever reason, that is the thing that they wanted to experience on a subconscious level.
Facts.
Yeah, man. It's crazy that you say that. I've had a lot of like moments recently where it's kind of like that whole one of my biggest paradigm shifts when I started transurfing was you had to be selfish with creating your reality because of that fact. Like you can't worry about what that person's creating or if you can help that person create unless you have control over your own thoughts and your own reality. So, but I've had a lot of paradigm shifting thoughts where it's like people don't mean to like be pendulums. They're on their own thoughts, they're on their own path, and they're manifesting different shit that create pendulums. You know what I mean? So that's a great way. That's a great paradigm shift to have, is that like other people are doing their own shit. Stay in your lane. Don't worry about what they're manifesting. My mentor actually said the same thing, is like when you're so caught up in like what this Instagram model is doing or what this guy on Instagram is doing, most of it's fucking fake, first of all. Second of all, you can't be concerned with what they're doing because everyone has their own fucking reality, their own path. Some have it easier, some have it harder. The people that have it harder, just like in game, like hard case newbies, always end up the best masters. So like your path is your path and it's probably going to be your best path no matter what.
All the pickup coaches, all the successful pickup coaches were hard case newbies. That's why they became coaches.
It's like
for sure.
It's like a rubber band. The deeper like the more further down you are, the greater the potential for you to just boom and just expand.
Right, bro. Are you a hard case, Miguel or Siddiqui? I know I'm like hybrid. Like I have some aspects that are very hard case, but then like I have some natural within me.
I would say originally I was a hybrid as well. You, Miguel?
I would say the same. I feel like I'm like more like just middle ground.
I feel like we all have like natural alpha in us, which kind of helped, but we also all had like subconscious traumas that we couldn't link up to where like we were afraid of like talking to as much people as we'd want to.
Mm-hmm.
It was mostly just like shit from like middle school. Like before, like I would just be pimping. I see a little shorty in second grade. I just give her that look. She give me that look, and then that's just that. But it was mostly like middle school and those traumas. Like you kind of just got to relinquish those traumas over time to go from hybrid to full pure beast mode.
Pure beast mode.
Yes.
Yeah, bro. I had struggle. I was a fat kid, so like I was insecure about a lot of shit, and basically I had mad approach anxiety because of that. So like that's all linked to trauma. But once you get over
you
that,
and Nick would get along.
What's that?
You and Nick would get along.
Nick is a fat kid.
Yes.
Oh, dude, it's hard, man. It's a tough world because like you don't know why you're insecure when you're first getting started. And you're like, oh shit, it's because I was fat.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm. So there's getting back to mirror principles, and this is actually a pretty good segue because now we're talking about just like insecurities and like different shit that we got going on, traumas and stuff. I feel as though like the visualization is one part of it, but the other part, like visualization wise, I mean not visualization wise, but mirror wise, is that the universe sort of mirrors how you feel internally. Like it's like how you feel, think, and act. Like those are the three things it's like mirroring 100% of the time. I'm curious what you guys do feeling wise to keep yourselves feeling amazing so that the stuff in your life can help reciprocate that feeling.
Can I start off with Miguel?
Either one, go for it.
All right. Whenever something negative or perceived negative happens, the first thing I do is I allow my inner guardian, as I say in Transferrin, which I just think is just me, like an objective version of me, but just me in a more meditative state. I'll let
Oh,
Jordan.
give Troy a second.
Yeah. Sorry. I got back up to
Troy.
3%.
Okay.
Okay.
Basically, I would just like for a couple seconds, I'll just like kind of just look at the situation and be like, this is the make or break, you know, the universe will throw me little shit. This pendulum is trying to keep me on it, but nah, little pendulum, I'm about to transfer.
La.
And
No,
then,
little pendulum.
Troy,
Get out of my way.
yeah, I brought this up earlier in the podcast, but like just now, my smoothie fell down and it just fucked up my
No, not the
bro.
smoothie.
Yes, bro. And
It's amazing what little things can fuck up people's days when they're not aware, though.
Yeah, and then I was just looking at the mess for like 5 seconds, right? And then then I was like, fuck. Then I was like, everything's perfect.
Yeah.
And I just did my dance, you know, and then boom, transfer. So that's what I do personally. What about you, Troy?
So that just goes back to like I always compare it to like what the book says because just I've read the 5th book so many fucking times.
Yeah.
But basically, I go back to the closed circle loop. If you turn away, you turn to stone. So I kind of just think I reframe it, and I'm like, no, dude, like the fucking reflection doesn't matter in the end. It's how I feel. It's my the image is all that matters. So I'm like, if the decorations, if the reflection was going perfect, how would I feel right now? And that kind of reframes it for me, and I'd be like, oh, I feel amazing, bro. Like, and that closes the circle. He says it's the closed circle loop rather than the open circle loop, where he's like, you're always chasing the reflection. Therefore, you're getting this negative response. Therefore, it's creating a negative reflection. And it's like to turn that around, you got to close it the other way and be like, no, only the image matters. The image is all that matters. And you got to keep on being aware of your thoughts, like that train of thoughts. You got to be aware of that. So when that negative awareness is key. It's like number one most important thing in transurfing. That's why I think like meditation is necessary in transurfing. Power of now, that kind of shit is necessary because it gives you that awareness to where you can observe your thoughts and then catch that negative shit, catch that where you're chasing the reflection and then close circle loop it back around until it becomes subconscious.
Doesn't he mention meditation in transurfing?
He mentions it slightly. I just read that part, but he mentions that your system, to get energy of intention is what they call it in my book. I don't know what they call it in your translation, but to get the energy of like the universe flowing through you, of space flowing through you, to have the up arrow and the down arrow, and then visualize the process. But basically, your being is kind of blocked if you have like negative, gross toxins in you. So like if you have a shitty diet, so he says to eat like raw foods. I don't know if he talks about that in your book, but he talks about eating raw foods. Yeah, bro. He talks about eating raw foods, and he says if you don't eat raw foods, the least you could do is meditate, so that it can do some of the work of clearing it. Yeah, bro. That's why like when you fast, you're like so much more energetic because you have the energy of intention. And basically, like he describes it as there's physiological intention or physiological energy, and then there's energy of intention. Energy of intention comes from like that's where you get like that unlimited energy. And he says some people feel like unlimited passion where like they can accomplish anything, but it's only for like an hour. So say you take some pre-workout and you like get to the good workout, you feel like you can conquer the most unlimited task. But then like that energy is very fleeting. That's because the energy of intention is only active for like a spurt. Whereas like true transurfers are like not at that height. They might be 75% of that height, but they're just constant across the board. Like they're just constantly with that energy of intention. They can constantly tap into that infinite energy.
But
rather than
too woke, bro. I did not know, or I'll probably skim through the past where he said eat raw foods. Or I probably just wasn't paying attention.
I want to see this part.
I just read this shit. Hold on, let me find this. It's under the energy of attention chapter.
Bro, it's funny that you brought up that meditation stuff because I literally just did a guided meditation and he was talking about pretend like there's a cone at the top of your head and pretend that the energy of the universe is pouring onto the top of your skull. He was like, and then pretend there's a light beam going through your body and going into the earth.
That's the energy. Yeah.
He was like, and now like the space between your asshole and your genitals, start squeezing that and pretend that energy is flowing up your body and into your pineal gland. Like,
wait, who's saying this, Miguel? Who is saying this? Who? Bettino?
Yeah.
Bentino's is awesome, bro. Y'all gotta meet Kevin. Kevin's like super into Bentino. He's read Transurfing too, but he's like Bentino is like everything for him. I'm
Bro,
not that into
I've
Bentino.
been watching, like, that dude completely changed my life, and I've only been watching his videos for like a week.
Yeah, Miguel. I remember when you first found out about him and you sent me the first video. I was like, I'm pretty sure Troy sent me this shit back in the day, ski. But like, I'm actually gonna watch it now. but yeah, and now like all the positive benefits. You haven't even been on it for that long, but it's just like I guess you could just see like it's parallel realities. You could shift your life like that if you are aware enough to do so.
He just like it's the way he's describing everything. Like, he's changed my perspective on so many things, to the point where it's just like the world looks brighter. And I've had that moment before. Like, that happened after The Power of Now, where you look at the world and you're like, damn, this is like very bright and like vibrant. And then like you read Reality Transurf, and then it happens again, and you're like, wow, this is interesting. And then reading Bentenio's videos, and I'm like, bro, I left the gym this morning, and I'm sitting there like I stopped in the middle of the sidewalk, and I'm just looking at the world. I'm just like, yo.
Is not the same world I was in a few days ago. What's going on here? What's going on?
Like, what you mean to tell me I shifted to a parallel reality where the saturation got bumped up?
But for real though, and that's also linked into transurfing, because as a kid, Vadim was talking about, as a kid, you were looking at the world in kind of like a more non-judgmental and just free way. But then as time went on and the world wasn't giving you what you want, it started off as positive, emotionally positive. Reality is positive, but then you saw the reality get kind of negative, and you kind of embodied your dissatisfaction towards the world. And then over time, it was just negative rebounding. And then the universe just seems more dim. Vadim Zilan talks about how old people, they always say how the good days were always better. But look at you, Miguel. You're basically reversing the script, and you're basically rewiring your reality. So yeah, it was dimmer, but now the saturation higher, nigga. Like, like oh, what happened?
I think
Troy's man. All love, Troy.
We all love Troy.
Yes.
So we only got 7 minutes. So real quick, I'll say what I've been doing, because before we actually started this, like, I brought it up, but I wanted to save it for the podcast in terms of why I feel like I've been happy. Like in terms of like every day, ever since watching Bentenio's videos, I'm happy 97% of the day. Like, every now and then, like I'll slip down a little bit, and then it's literally just like me slipping down, and then I switch the perspective, and then boom, like I'm right back. I'm like,
and I feel like you're at a point where you're aware when you're slipping down. You're just kind of like you're kind of just like experimenting, like yourself slipping down a little bit. And in transurfing, they kind of Vadim talks about like that's not that bad when you kind of allow that to happen. Sometimes it's not that bad, you know.
As long as you're aware of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the same thing how like what Eckhart Tolle talks about, where he's like, yeah, if you feel bad, just like accept it, and then all of a sudden, like you're most likely be good enough right after that.
Boom. Boom.
So 3 things. The first thing, which I always talk about, like I've talked about on my channel multiple times. Pretty sure there's at least one podcast on here. But my diet's super clean, and like the fasts have been helping. And because of that, like everything that I eat, especially ever since like I've been paying more attention to eating, like making sure that everything I eat is organic. Like I feel like that's helping. And if you've read Ultramind Solution, then you know that like your diet has a direct effect on everything you got going on inside of your brain.
Yes, bro.
Serotonin is made in the gut, all that.
2 minutes to like find the organic in Trader Joe's today. Like I was like you would think, yeah, Trader Joe's, yeah, all healthy, but like every single thing I had to like I was like, yo, this looked hella healthy, but then I realized it was some boo ass food, and the organic was like in the corner.
Bro, you know who has organic stuff like stocked up everywhere? Target.
Target?
Yes. When I started reading up more on organic stuff, which was recently, I was like, oh, okay, I should probably like start making sure that the food that I have in the house, because normally like the only thing I make in my crib is fruit. And then I was like, wait a second, let me look at my stuff. The only stuff I had was fruit, pepperoncinis, and olives, um,
Oh,
and spinach. Um, so then I was like, oh, let me look at this shit. I'll pick up the olives, and it was like USDA organic. I was like, oh, okay. Pepperoncinis, organic. I was like, oh, okay. Blueberries, organic. Okay. Strawberries, organic. I was like, really? Spinach, organic. I was like, okay. I guess I don't have to go back to the store. I'll pick all that stuff up on accident.
bro.
Huh?
That sounds like you kind of transurfed that too, bro. You weren't even aware that your stuff was organic.
Higher self was just guiding me, like, nah, don't pick that up. Pick that up.
Yeah. And meanwhile, you're just thinking about like ClickFunnels and stuff, and boom.
All right. So that's the first thing. Actually, before I forget this, I heard someone say that you think that the actions that you take are yours, but in reality, your higher self is literally just controlling you. And like whenever you have that like feeling bubble up inside of yourself, or like intuition, you're like, oh, maybe I should do this. Like that's literally like I'm trying to
Boy, if you don't
turn this way.
look who rejoined.
Oh, Troy.
Do I not have the camera?
You don't have the camera on right now.
How do I get the camera, dude? It didn't ask me.
I'm not sure. Me and Speaking on our laptops. You should really do this on your laptop. That'd be like that. Oh, there you there's your face.
Bro, can you see me?
All right.
Yeah,
So
okay,
I'm literally just in the middle of explaining what I do to stay happy. To keep the positive feelings internal. So first thing I said was like just diet, making sure I'm eating clean. The second thing is obviously yeah. What is that?
Bro, what you munching on right now, boy?
Me?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I thought you were eating some chips, man. It sounded like you're eating some.
No. I was flipping through the pages. I found
Remember those things, them like them rainmakers, those like sticks, and you would like turn it. That's what it sounded like he was messing up.
Yes.
No, bro. I found where he talks about the food, so I was just gonna show you all that.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Can you like say some exact words so I can see if I can search this inside of my version?
Here, let me see if
I can't see.
can you even see that shit?
No.
Boy.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Bro, just
take some pictures and send it in the group chat. That'd probably be not right now. We in the middle of a podcast, but later.
Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead.
All right. So first thing is diet, of course. Second thing is meditation and doing like keeping the commitments that I make with myself. Like whenever the day starts with me like attacking the day and I'm like boom, like I'm like yeah, like I said I was gonna do this thing and then I did this thing. I always feel amazing on those days. And then lastly is my perspective of the world has just been shifted entirely by this fucking Italian dude from Denmark named Bentino. Like mainly just in terms of like I've heard so many people say like your state is a choice and stuff like that, and I've like told people this, but for whatever reason the way he describes it in his videos, where like the second he described it, like from the first video when he was just describing like having like internal bliss, like bliss is supposed to be like your natural state, like that's everything. Like ever since like I heard him describe it and I've been listening to his videos and hearing him like describe it in multiple different ways, I've been able to just sit down and everywhere that I go, like it's just this like refrigerator hum of happiness. Like
you want to know why I think that happens, Miguel?
what?
because guys like Bentino, guys like Vadim, they don't explain this spiritual stuff in a kind of like woo-woo way. They explain it scientifically, and us, like we're some logical ass dudes, like we're like a little bit skeptical sometimes. So when they explain it like in a more scientific way that's easily digestible, it's like you're kind of forced to believe it because it sounds like pure facts, and like you just easily digest it, and then boom, it's just your new reality.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
He actually doesn't like a lot of spiritual teachers for that reason.
Bentino, he doesn't like spiritual teachers for that reason.
Yeah, he feels like a lot of are like on a high horse when it comes to spirituality.
Huh.
And they just don't, and some of them like don't explain stuff right. His opinion. But it's also interesting because he believes in all of that stuff.
They're not right, but I still believe it though.
Yeah, like he believes in the teachings, like he just doesn't like the way that they teach it. I guess is the perfect way to describe it. But yeah, bro, just the way he described being in a perpetual state of bliss, like now it just makes sense. And he described negative emotions.
Troy, is there like a puppy?
Yeah, it's a little pup. little pup.
All right.
You want to see him?
Yeah,
I can.
Beautiful. Hello, Mr. Puppy.
All right. But the way he described negative emotions is that he basically said that like whenever you have a negative emotion, it's basically like it's like your emotions are basically like messages. Like your higher self can like sit down and like have a conversation with you, so they speak to you through your emotions. So it's like whenever you're like feeling happy, that's your higher self's way of saying you're doing it right. Like you're thinking correctly. You understand. Like you're thinking in a way that's actually like flowing properly with the universe. So I'm going to make you feel happy. And then whenever you start feeling like any sort of negative, depressive emotion, the reason that negative emotion starts building up in you is because your higher self is basically sending that, like it's a message. Like, yo, you're thinking about this entirely wrong. None of this makes sense. You're doing this entirely wrong. This shit's stupid. Which is why I feel like most like super rich people who are just like gung-ho and making a ton of money tend to get depressed because their focus isn't on love and like happiness.
Right. I've witnessed that firsthand, bro. Like I'm telling you, like the most successful month I've had was like the most depressing month. Like literally followed right after because you realize nothing came from that.
Mm-hmm.
Shit was depressing.
Mm-hmm.
I
was watching.
I like that you brought that up though, bro. That's a good point. Not even like just the thoughts though, like the actions too. Like I notice that I'm depressed or I'm having depressing thoughts when I know I'm not striving for my full potential. So like, I guess thoughts are more important, but like that's because your higher self is just like, dude, you're not reaching anymore.
Mm-hmm. It's like, yo, you're like, I put you down here. I manifested myself, my godliness in you, and this is it. This is what you're doing with it. All right, guys, it's been, So we got to wrap this up.
Any questions though? Let's see if anybody asked any questions. Art.
There's no real questions. Art's he's giving like he does his little pings. He's like, hey, man, that's a dope book. You gotta lower that importance. Yo, open up that pineal gland.
Yeah, why do I feel like art is like ad libs? Yeah.
Bro, he is. If this was like a rap track, he'd be in the back. Open that pineal gland.
I think this was an epic episode of Brainstorm Blast, the epic podcast, bro. We went over so much dope content, bro. Like,
oh yeah,
yes, bro.
We can talk forever about this.
Yes, bro. We gotta start.
And Troy ended up in this
twice,
bro. Bro, we gotta talk more about this. Is a good talk, man.
Yeah.
This is like our normal conversation, just recorded.
Yeah.
Bro, that's literally why we started this.
Yes, bro. Miguel literally told at me. He was like, "Why don't we just record our combos and then give other people the value?" And then I'll click, boom, look at it. Yeah.
Such a great idea.
So
Yes.
thank you
Badass.
everybody for tuning in. The people who tuned in live and anyone who's watching this sometime in the future. I'm happy to converge in this parallel reality that you decided to shift on. Thanks. Beautiful co-host. Now there's an S at the end of that. At the end of that
Wait,
word.
Miguel, fix your mic. Fix your mic.
You can't hear me?
It's good now. It's good now.
Okay. So thank you to my beautiful co-hosts, Siddiqui and Troy, the world champion.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
And yeah, peace out, everybody.
Brain blast.
Peace.